Next, on our agenda is a panel discussion focusing on Johnson Controls' role in achieving the goal of a net zero future. We are thrilled to have with us Mr. Santhosh Muzumdar, Director, Government Relation and Sustainability, Johnson Controls India, who will be hosting our panel discussion. Joining him will be a distinguished panel of experts, including Mr. R. Balakrishnan, Vice President and Head of MEP Design, L&T, Mr. Vijaya Kumar Reddy, Director Technical, Green Park Hotels and Hospitality Services, Mr. Rajarshi Datta, Director Sales, Johnson Controls India, and Mr. Sivakumar Ganapathy, Vice President, Openblue India Software Engineering and APAC Solution, Johnson Controls. Let's welcome our host and panelist to the stage. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Priyanka. Can you all hear me clear? Wonderful. Well, first of all, it's an honor to have all of you here, and thank you, sir, for making to this panel discussion here. We have heard Arun say, we have heard, and thank you, Mr. Gurmeet Singh, for being in the booth as well. Well, I think we have all seen India has made its announcements very clear. The Panchamrit goals that the government of India has announced, that we will go net zero by 2070, is very aspirational. And the thought here is that India cannot go net zero without decarbonizing cities. And cities cannot be decarbonized without decarbonizing buildings. Now, it's interesting that buildings globally, we know, contribute to 40% of the emissions. Now, if you break down this 40%, you'll actually see that 3/4 of that 40%, roughly around 28-29%, actually comes from building operations. And the rest is basically the embodied carbon or the logged carbon. Now, this discussion here will focus on how we can contribute towards reducing that operational carbon in buildings. Well, thank you so much. So I would like to first start with any opening remarks on this white paper. Any of you may want to provide your remarks. Do you want to go first? Please.
Yeah. Thank you, JCA, for inviting me on this panel discussion. Interesting. India is progressing very fast, and we need to play our part. All of us have to play our part, and BMS is a very important tool to do this. And JCA, I know, does a lot of things apart from HVAC systems, other systems. BMS has been a main portfolio for them. And for us, from this point of view, whatever the white paper you people have published gives a comprehensive thing of what to do in the present world, how to fast forward this net zero requirements, and how JCA can help the country. This is what I feel will come out of this white paper. And other thoughts is we started BMS probably 20 years back, how it developed into a matured system by going into IBMS, and then now it's smart BMS. That's what will make net zero possible in this country. These are my thoughts.
Thank you so much.
Initial thoughts.
Mr. Mannur.
Level. It will be effective only when it comes down to the last person who is operating the systems. So there is a lot of effort that need to be done to get that concept, the tools, the devices, the processes to the last mile, to the last person. So that is the success to make the net zero achievable by 2070, right? So I'm very happy that Johnson Control is working towards that. They launched a new tool today. I went around and saw. So where, you are going to talk to the industry, there are two main areas, industry and buildings, right? So you are going to talk to the industry and the key persons in the buildings and get this concept down to the operational level, which will be a good initiative in contributing to net zero 2070. So I congratulate you and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay. Rajarshi, Shiva, any opening remarks on the white paper?
Yeah, so I think this is a culmination of whatever Johnson Controls had been doing for ages. I think the BMS industry, when it evolved, I think I would say around 1994, 95, it started with a simple building management system. The primary intent that time was how do we ensure 1% reduction in the chiller reset helps in 3% reduction in energy. That's how it started. Now that got compounded into so many other things. And obviously, I think Anu gave a very simple example. If you have got two hotels, one the temperature is 19 degree and another one, they are still continuing to 24, that person is obviously going to go for the 19 degrees. Comfort is important. At the same time, how do we make this together as a public-private partnership to ensure that we go into net zero? And net zero is starting point, then it's become net positive. So I think the overall journey, JCI, how it works to moving from a smart building to smart autonomous building, that's what exactly we are looking at.
Thanks, Raj. I think you touched upon this very interesting aspect of lifestyle for sustainability, which is being responsible also while enjoying the comfort. Siva, your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a saying in Tamil called Siru Thuli Peruvellam. Small drops make a mighty ocean. I agree with you, sir. I think we have the strategy in place, execution in place, but these transformations of energy savings and net zero can happen and should happen at the operational level. And we have to make it simpler for them so that it is easier to adopt and adapt. And events like this, such white paper, makes us learn as people of what can be done, what should be done. And now with technology advancements, we're also talking about buildings learning themselves. So I think this is a great event, and thanks to the entire team behind this effort for putting this together.
We will certainly be there in 10 years with autonomous buildings, if not sooner. Thanks, Siva. Mr. Balakrishnan, you have, L&T has been undoubtedly a pioneer in creating sustainable buildings across the globe and more so in India.
Correct.
And you have this unique and rich experience of working across building sectors, right? So you have worked in, you've worked in airports, metros, you've worked in malls, data centers. Now, please share us your vision of how digital technologies can help create a sustainable building.
Yeah. So my vision or L&T's vision has been always to conserve energy, water, waste, and do unique buildings in the country. And we are forefront in that. And we try to start this journey 20 years back itself. And we had different technologies at that time with JCA itself. Starting the first BMS, I remember, I was there when I joined, starting with you people on BMS. We struggled with that. Let me put it appropriately, of integrating. Now it's matured, and we also have contributed to that maturity to the industry by giving a lot of insights and what we are facing. I think now it's more matured into having artificial intelligence and machine learning, and that is what your Blue Beam is about, which can be leveraged for all the sustainability goals, which all corporates have taken up very seriously. We have also taken up very seriously. We want to do it not in 2070, we want to do it earlier. And this BMS, like Blue Beam and other things, will definitely help it make it faster in this country. I think India is a country which can do things faster than what happens abroad. So a lot of things are there in this. BMS part 1, I said already, artificial intelligence and machine learning. We are talking of digital twin, using digital twin. That's what he touched upon, that we have this building footprint covering all aspects, like as he said, the operation people should be understanding it very easily to take effective decisions to save all these things. My one more suggestion with JCI is you have dashboards to all your projects on this net zero, what is happening inside that building as a given to the customers and other things. This should be continuously displayed to the people who are working there or whatever airports or whatever it is, areas. If you do that, people come to know this is a net zero building or net zero thing and what is happening inside the building. That gives more power for the people, operation peoples also, to take effective decisions based on what is happening inside the building. And I'm sure, I mean, the operations people can leverage these technologies. And that's what we are looking for, and training people in the country to achieve this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's really interesting to know how these things have evolved over the last couple of decades. You mentioned some very important things there. You mentioned artificial intelligence. You mentioned about continuous display of the measurements that you're making. And I can see Siva nodding his head very far away from there. Siva, clearly, I think India is at the heart of its innovation, right? As India becomes an economic powerhouse, it wouldn't be incorrect to say that India is today the R&D center of the world, right? And you have been at the forefront of it. You hold several leadership positions in several industry associations. Now, can you share a couple of thoughts on how digitalization is taking place in India, especially in the sustainable building space? Where are we today? What challenges do you see? And what, according to you, are the opportunities there in terms of creating more digital and sustainable buildings?
Yeah, thanks, Santhosh. Definitely, we take your input, sir. Definitely, I mean, the more we display, the more it's visual, it triggers our thoughts to take actions at the operational level. So we will certainly do that. I mean, I have opportunity, thanks to Anu and Arun, for allowing me to participate in some of the several forums in the India ecosystem. I mean, generally, there's a notion that, India could become the Silicon Valley of the East, etc. But we are in a situation where we are going to say, hey, these guys are going to be the India of the West, right? So we are already there, and we are thinking beyond being the Silicon Valley and we being the talent hub. And this is not just few statements, but it's happening at a government level, it's happening at an industry level, and at an academia level. So there's a three-pronged triaging happening to really take that skill level to more contemporary and solving a business problem and also a community problem. Coming to some of the technologies available in the sustainability space, in the Indian context, you see the kind of startup ecosystem we have, it's exponential. And everybody is talking about IoT, industrial IoT, and edge technologies, AI, ML. No discussion is full today without talking about AI. And now, very recently, it's generative AI, right? So I think we are in a very good position. It's about taking the pole position and going there and solving a problem, not just alone for the sake of the community, but also for a business, right? So today, if I go to a CFO, the first question he or she asks is, okay, what is the return of the value? Okay, technology is great. So what? With respect, right? They understand the technology, but so what, right? Is there a return on investment? So the way we are trying to do within Johnson Controls and Openblue to solve the problem is break down into smaller problems, be nimble, quicker, jugaad innovation in the Indian context, do a proof of concept so that the customers can see the proof of value, and then you expand it. So that is going to be very critical in the Indian context, which I think Johnson Controls have learned it quickly, and we are adapting. I'm working with Arun and his entire business leadership team to go meet with the customer, understand the problem, be quick, nimble, show the proof of value, and then go for a bigger proposal. So that is very key.
You gave us a glimpse of what's happening in those R&D centers, Siva. I think we certainly will need more time to understand in deep as to how innovation, how jugaad is happening in those R&D centers. Yeah. Now, one of the biggest challenges we see in India is, I think this is all great, we are looking at digitalization, we are looking at making sustainable buildings. I think India, as it evolves, is not just looking at adopting these technologies, but it is also looking at adopting innovative business models. And Mr. Vijaya Mannur is here, a leader. Hotels have great opportunity. It is at the forefront of creating those experiences. There's been so much discussion about the right temperature in hotels today. But Mr. Mannur, you have been a pioneer of bringing, or rather adopting, really innovative business models. Now, I think in India, when we have an initial approach, you say, I'll pay if you perform. Now you brought this model, you innovated this model. You have worked with Johnson Controls, you have taken performance contracting models. Can you tell us your experience of how it's been working in this performance contracting model and what scale does it have? Thank you.
See, any of these initiatives, once you take to the customers, the first question you will face, how much capital investment?
Exactly.
Okay? So nobody talks of life cycle costs. So what is the capital investment? What is my operational expense? What is my savings? What is my payback period? So nobody talks of these things. And the awareness also is very low. So when I joined the particular hotel group, Green Park Hotels, so they were only going with the L1 concept. What is the capital investment? How do I... Okay, there is a process of RFI where you qualify people. Then once you qualify, you go with L1 bid. So then when we looked at it, so whatever is the promise during procurement process to the performance, there is a huge gaps. And there are multiple ownerships. So everybody is getting away with the result. So then we looked at how to plug these holes. So we started working on life cycle costing, which I learned from my previous experience. So when we started working with what is the capital cost, what is the running cost, what is the maintenance cost, what is the life cycle cost, AMC cost and all that, and then whatever is the extra money you pay for efficiency, how fast you could get it back. So with that model, we were very successful, and we started with one building, one hotel. Now we have expanded to 3 hotels. Soon we are going to do with all other hotels. So that is one big challenge. The other challenge what I see is like whatever measuring tools we are launching. So these measuring tools, some of the tools doesn't give us the actual data points on a continuous basis. And from the data points, what are the actionable items? Suppose the chiller is supposed to give a IKW of say 0.45. Now it can give 0.45 for over a period of 1 year or during the defect liability period. After the period, is it giving? First there should be a measure. Then if it is say from 0.48 it has gone to 0.55. Why? So what are the parameters which have deteriorated? So once you know what are the parameters which are deteriorated, then what are the actionable items to restore back to the... So it's more like say predictive maintenance. You don't wait till the equipment fail. So you take measurable in-time actions. So your system will operate at a higher efficiency and your operational and maintenance costs will come down. So this is the biggest challenge today I see is, and this actionable item should be at the operational level to the operator. Okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you are doing. Let us do the course correction. So this type of systems what we are today working out with all our strategic partners and putting a system where the efficiency is maintained for the life cycle of the equipment. We are taking today life cycle of equipment as defect liability period plus 6 years. So it's almost like your payback period ends in the middle. You still have another half life cycle to save money. So then only we can convince our decision makers, look, we are saving, we are investing more money, we are saving it by half life cycle, and the rest of the half cycle and beyond that, we have large savings coming back to us. So this is what we have done.
No, I think you're saying you're actually giving us a clear vision of how the business is going to be operated. So it says, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it, right? So I think thanks for those thoughts. Now, but all of this is great. I mean, whatever sustainability, whatever digitalization we do has to make business sense. Now, Raj, be it HVAC, be it fire and security, or be it any aspect of a building, Johnson Controls has grown phenomenally in the last couple of years. Now, you have these unique insights of working across sectors, right? So not just hospitals, hotels, but then across buildings. What's your take on what customers are thinking, what your customers are thinking about net zero buildings? What challenges, what opportunities do you see there?
So I think I'll start with what keeps an CEO awake.
Yeah, please.
You know, I think we had for the last 3 days, 3 meetings with CEOs of a data center company, of a large gel contracting company, globally one of the first 5 gel contracting company, of a big, more than $100 billion enterprise, MNC. All of them, and Anu had these meetings with them, they all spoke about, they are all fine with whatever we are doing at a operational level about, we have our fire alarm system, CCTV, access, building management system, but then they are more concerned to know what exactly can you do to help me partner in my net zero sustainability goals. And when we say we try to solve the complex problem of our customers, it's what exactly is this? It speaks about how we partner with them in the initiative for smart and healthy buildings, in their initiative for sustainability and net zero, in their initiative around digital transformation. Now, what exactly we do and how customer is interested? Because, Johnson Control had been doing it for quite a while and way ahead of some of our other esteemed competitors. There's a lot of data that you get, and that's what, we always had been getting data coming out from the sensors that we put around in our buildings. Now, what do we do with so many data? How do we take this data, convert them into meaningful insights, and then use it for outcomes which will really help them in their net zero goals? That makes a customer like, okay, this guy, now they are talking. And I think RBK spoke about something around, why don't you create a dashboard, right? So that everybody, all the employees can see how we are moving. And that's exactly what we do. We are doing a IAQ-based solution for one of the IT companies in India. What exactly we are doing? We are putting up a dashboard, but they can see how they are doing with regards to their indoor air quality. So I was having a discussion with Anu that, they have this JWC. And JWC has got a place where you have got very expensive clothes which are 200 years old. Now, how the temperature of that place or the air quality of the place is done in such a way that the clothes remain in that form for a long time. We have partnered with that. So that's what we do. Now, that's what our customers are talking about.
It's great. Mr. Balakrishnan, you heard from Rajarshi there, right? They are coming up with unique solutions. But what do you see? I mean, from the industry point of view, right? I mean, there's one thing that, let's say, Johnson Controls is offering. But what else would you like to see? What else is, like, to borrow Rajarshi says, is keeping you awake in progressing towards your net zero goals? What else would you like to see from the industry?
So what I said, I mean, he also talked about it. How effective is your smart meters and sensors? Is it giving accurate values? Does it have any self-diagnostic system to check whether it's performing accuracy levels? It's meeting for 10 years or 20, 15 years, whatever life of that equipment. Do you have any solution for that? Because that's the key point he brought about here. If you don't have accurate data, all this artificial intelligence and machine learning is not good enough to achieve this net zero. So how do you do this self-diagnostics? I'm sure people are working on it. So if something is not right at that point, that's what he wants his operator to know. Yes, either this system is not giving that sufficient energy saving, or the meter is not working. So I would put it in a simple word, more transparency about your own system should be displayed so that informed decisions can be taken and accurate decisions can be taken towards this net zero. So the smart meters can be done for all the areas, and we also have to look at, after the pandemic, the well-being of people. You need to display how well-being, whatever areas you're doing your air conditioning and other things, how that is displayed. Then, of course, the water, and if something can be done on waste, I think it constitutes the whole net zero requirement. So please focus on that. So I think we are there.
Well, thank you for sharing those thoughts. It's a clear writing on the wall that a systematic approach, a systemic approach is crucial here. Mr. Mannur, your thoughts on what else would you like to see in the industry, from the industry?
See, one is the life cycle partnership is what is missing today. And there is no synergy between the marketing, sales, implementation, and operation teams. So if there is a seamless integration of all these four teams, the operator, still the operator level, then it will become very successful. Because whatever thoughts at decision-making level you sell to the your customers doesn't percolate to the last level, and it will fail, and you will not get second chance. So the need of the hour is that long sustaining partnerships between, so we never call anybody a vendor.
Partner.
They are our partner. Yeah. And we encourage them, come look, don't look at this one particular tender. Look at a continuous relationship. Can we build a relationship? So what can we do for that? What type of platform we can work? Forget about this one tender. So we start talking to our partners like that, and see, when you get into a discussion, you will know much more about your partner, and you will know much more about our requirement than what is there in the tender. So then once you have that understanding, then you start working. Then, these partnerships will go to a very large levels. And, if one successful, in industry, it's, the word goes very fast. Of all your advertisements, all that, more than that, you have one satisfied customer, he will bring you 3-4 satisfied potential customers. Yeah. You have one unsatisfied customer, 100 will go back. You see the ratio. So that integration, that continuous effort is very, very important. And I'm very happy that whatever relationship we built with you is on that platform. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I think both of you are clearly alluding to better integration, systemic thinking, accuracy, making sure that anybody who's providing a service is an integral part of your organization going along with you. I think these are great points. I will want to go back to Rajarshi and Shiva together on how would you like to respond to these two gentlemen in terms of what Johnson Controls can do or is doing. And with that, I think you can also provide your concluding thoughts.
So Arvike, one of the things I want to tell you, in fact, we are already doing waste management system in your LTI Mahapay, where we actually have installed, so we had systems from different places. So there are two things which is important. When you as a technocrat would want a system which is open. At the same time, it is scalable. And that's exactly what we do with our Openblue system. We had systems coming from different other players. On top of it, our Openblue is sitting. And that's going to help in your garbage management system, along with some of the other things. So we are doing that. And I think one more important point you spoke about, transparency. In terms of the data that you come, exactly, one is like obviously the accuracy of the data. And obviously, and that will always happen when there's a right input taken. Because many a times, garbage in is garbage out. So it's very important that the data that comes in, intake of data, that's very important when you start the, project. And one of the things which came up when we were having in this discussion, when our inauguration was going on, around the design phase. Now, in the design phase, if you are right, then the implementation becomes much better. So I would end that way. Over to you, Siva.
So if I have some time,
Please go ahead.
see, I was part of the discussion where we were discussing, somebody asked you, why people are maintaining 19 degrees. So he is talking of the outcome. Nobody does people know in a facility, you know, there are hot points, there are cold points, how to control that, what is air balancing, what is, you know, how is the temperature controlled? It is controlled by airflow. So there is to regulate the airflow, there are various equipments, the controls. So people, I have seen many places where you can control the airflow, it's blanked. They have spent so much money on it, but they're not using it. Okay, so awareness is the most important thing. So once you don't have cold point and hot point, you can maintain 23.5. But if with cold point, with hot point, you maintain 23.5, at one place you'll have 27 degrees. He is going to cry. So what happens? What is the immediate solution you have? You have to do air balancing, which is going to take long time. You have to employ a, expert. So what is there with you? You know, the operation guy is under pressure. He will go reduce it to 19 degrees. So the guy who is supposed to get 23.5 will get 19. But the guy who gets 27 will get 23.5. So that is the pathetic situation today we are in. So if you understand those things and correct, so for that you need to, again I'll go back, maybe I'm repeating that. Till operational level, if they know the concept, then they can make it a successful. Thank you.
I just, very good discussion. I was listening actively. One of the things which I wanted to tell you, sir, is our JCI brand logo, that itself symbolizes partnership. We have our legacy blue and the green for sustainability and the white for the strategic partnership. It's just not one time, but it's a lifelong partnership. And that partnership, through that, I think we have the honor of 2 customers sitting in our white paper launch event. So definitely strategic partnership is the way forward, not only from this perspective, because the world is becoming more complex, more volatile. We call it as VUCA world. It's volatile, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous. So in this scenario, it's important to ensure that we have the ecosystem and partnership established so that collectively, as Anu mentioned in the previous forum, it's just not, net zero is just not one person's job or one company's job. It's a collective, cohesive effort. So number 2, in the previous feedback, you were talking about the life cycle cost. What we are trying to do is really measuring the TCO, both for us, who the service provider, and also for our customer, which is the total cost of ownership. It's just not about CapEx, project cost, it's good, internal rate of return, you sign a check. No. So what is going to be your O&M cost, your running cost, all put together is the total cost of ownership. That has to be optimized.
So thanks.
And one thing, so just wanted to touch base on his feedback. Definitely, we don't need big data. We just need good data. And we have to provide insights, not after the fact, because there's no use with that, but can it be before the fact? Can we tell the operators to predict something so that they can extend the life of the capital-intensive equipment? And we also have certain solutions to ensure, are there vibrations being monitored so that not only operationally efficient, but also extending the life of the equipment.
Yeah.
Thank you, Siva.
I just want to add one thing, since he touched about TCO. With JCA, because of some TCO thing, we could do some better mission. We could get some better mission for one of the projects, thanks to him.
Well, there you go. I think.
So these are things, I think I should compliment JCA also. Whenever we ask some things, they do share, and we take good technical decisions. Since you mentioned about TCO, I'm just coming out, which was not even available in India. We are trying to get a machine which is coming to India.
That's very timely. Thank you. Mr.
So I
Mannur.
have one more suggestion is, wherever you have such type of partnerships, probably you should look at one person from your customer organization who can work with you on a continuous basis, whether there are order
Part
flow
of the
or
development
not.
process. Yeah.
And then through him, the information flows both sides. Today, this is missing across all sectors. And it's all, requirement basis things happen. It doesn't happen on a continuous basis. If that type of relationship and system we have, then it will be more successful. Thank you.
I think you underlined the word partnership there very clearly. So there you heard from all the experts here. I think India is clearly on that path of unstoppable path or unstoppable journey of creating digital and sustainable buildings. Well, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for coming, for making this to this event here. And thank you. That concludes our panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. That